Just in case this is the first time you've ever seen us on video, my name is Daniel and this is my beautiful Princess Diana.
3 years ago, coming up really soon, I went to a retreat he was hosting. I flew in from Denmark, where I'm from, and I lived my entire life, and I was expecting to be here for a 3-week vacation, and now it's 3 years later and we're married. And a few world wonders later as well, and a bunch of countries and fairy dust.
Yeah, so I've been hosting retreats for the last few years, mostly on radical health through raw honesty in a form of facing your fears around self-expression to get to new levels of self-acceptance. And it's very interesting. After years of getting people to tell the truth, I've discovered they are telling the truth about themselves. And now I've become a master of basically what I believe is catalyzing people overcoming the domestication of their education, whether that came in the form of the way they were parented or the schools they went to find freedom in their fear and unlock the jail of their mind by diving deep into their heart. And the most recent endeavor that's been amazingly successful, and what a learning process, is the masterart group I started called TENALLIN, where I basically got a bunch of people to consider what it would be like if they invested in themselves like they've always dreamt of others investing in them, and to find out what kind of dreams can be catalyzed by taking action and going all in on yourself, and to find out that the way you treat yourself and the way you talk about yourself and the way you live your life is a reflection of the way you treat others and the way you love others. That being said, I had this idea that I felt was delivered to me yesterday, and I accepted it, and I'm taking action on it.
Well, I want to say that, you know, you might get people to tell the truth, but what's their truth right now doesn't have to stay that way, if that makes sense. Because often we have the story that our truth is just, we can't do this, we can't do that, and it's just the truth and it's facts and we can't do anything about it. But changing that truth as well.
Oh yeah, I mean, I've definitely felt a huge urge to encourage people to get clean with their past. And in a way it can be challenging, but once you start doing it and exploring shame and releasing that shame and releasing guilt and letting go and letting God by getting clean with your past and telling the truth about your past, then you realize the words that are coming out of your mouth that you believe enough to speak are the words that are creating your current reality. So yes, at the same time, get clean with the past and get big with the future. To dream big and live bigger. So the idea was, especially after TENALLIN, because we've had hundreds and thousands of people that have watched our videos or reached out to us, and this year I've been focusing in on these 10 amazing individuals, where the evolution of not only those 10 but myself is going so fast. I mean, I didn't even realize, I don't think in the past I realized how much someone can grow and how much someone can learn in such a short period of time. And the last month that I spent in Montana, I actually had a not-so-ghostwriter and his wife come in, where we're basically co-writing a book right now. Check out my website, f-uncomfortable.com, and you can get a sneak peek at that. Right now we just got the proposal out, so if you have any connections with publishing companies or big authors, let me know. I would love to hear about that. Side note, what also happened was her dad flew in from Denmark, and I want you to take over from here.
Well, we kind of wanted to, we wanted to, how would I say that?
I like how you caught yourself in the word kind of, and how letting go of that can really evolve someone's life as well if you just want a quick trick.
It can, because you're not kind of doing anything. You are, you're not, so you're never kind of, and it's just a filler word. So, to let myself try again.
Or just do it. Let go, this is a great interjection. Let go of the words hope, try, kinda, sorta, woulda, shoulda, coulda. The list goes on, and watch your life.
Take 2 is what we're gonna call it. We wanted to create a month of miracles, and I had my dad fly out here, stepdad, and he was living a lifestyle that was really not good. He was a sugar monster, the things he would eat, goodness gracious. It was ridiculous. He would, anything sugar, sweet, whatever, he kind of had the mentality that if you can buy it at the grocery store, then it should be safe to eat, right? And that's not really the case. So I put him through a month of life as Diana and completely transformed his life. He did everything I told him to, and he lost 17.5 pounds within the first 2 weeks, and he got off.
And I want to say something about that. We also had an on-call massage therapist, and this is a transition of what I'm going to tell you about. And did she not lose the same amount of weight?
She lost 9 pounds the first week.
9 pounds in the first week.
Yeah. And my dad 17.5 the first 2 weeks, and he got off half of his medication. It was ridiculous. He went from, he couldn't eat anything that was sweet enough. He would eat so much sugar, pastries, you name it. It could not get sweet enough for him. And by 2 or 3 weeks, I had him eat a teaspoon of raw honey, and he did not want it. He was repulsed by the sweetness of 1 teaspoon of raw honey. After the transformation, the detox, and getting on a clean diet, I told him before he even started that, you can expect your taste buds to change, and he was like, yeah, what is this whole thing about putting butter in coffee and not eating whatever weird things? And he lost so much weight and he was repulsed. But he would actually rather have a colonic than a teaspoon of honey at the end, and that's actually no joke.
And this is why I really want to challenge you guys to consider the idea that how you do one thing or how you do some things are indicative of how you do everything. And those pounds of whatever we want to call it, fat or toxicity or just unnecessary weight that your dad lost, to me it was very indicative of how he was shedding these self-defeating stories and creating new ones for himself.
Yeah.
And I would really love to see how he's living at home right now. I'm sure it's carried over.
My mom was grateful. He started cooking by himself. He didn't realize that it could be so simple. The things I would tell him to do, he was just mind blown. And he would never cook anything. My mom would do everything. And now she's like, he's in the kitchen. And she's so grateful. And he is just mind blown that it's so simple. I gave the plan to my sister back home. So she just started it today, so I'll be curious to see how she's doing
nice.
in it.
You've been working on that for quite a while. So.
I know. So.
And what I felt like the message here was, and what we're getting from other people, is that this evolution continues to take place when we live with someone for an extended period of time, whether it's the massage therapist or whether it's her dad or whether it's friend. This idea I felt divinely guided yesterday. I was getting a massage, and I felt this idea just like kind of fill me up. And here I am, I'm taking an action on it the next day, which is to offer, to invite you, and we only are really looking for people that are really to go all in on themselves, but it just so happens that we're going to Hawaii in late October, and we'll probably be there for about a month. So I wanted to send out an invitation to the person that I am supposed to be talking to right now, the reason that I was given this idea to invite you to come live with us for a month of a miraculous makeover.
Watch your life transform. I think one thing that really makes the difference is, most people can't you just like put it on a piece of paper, tell me what to do and I'll do it. And it's so much more than that. The solution is not just to read a couple of pages and then think that that's what's gonna transform your life. It's understanding how to look at these perspectives and these ideas from an angle that you might not be used to. As well, when it comes to diet and fitness and working out, it's about doing it right. And when you have everything in your kitchen, you have your stash of whatever you're not supposed to eat, and really understanding like, how do I even look for these things at the grocery store? Simple things like that can be overwhelming and at the same time just confusing. You give in to things that you wouldn't if we're there watching over you.
Yes, I believe, especially for the focused person, they can conceptualize and read a lot of perspectives and take action on those in the privacy of their own home. However, it's a whole different ballgame when you're completely immersed in fresh water, fresh air, and the lifestyle that we've co-created for ourselves, thanks to God, that opening our eyes and opening our hearts to what's possible, and that following your dreams is really the safest thing to do. The insecurity is the ultimate security. And to have an on-call massage therapist potentially, maybe no one will respond to this video, but I have an inkling and I have an intuition that someone, or maybe a few people, will feel as filled up by this idea as I was when I first received it, and now that I'm taking action on it, that if you are interested in living with us for a month in multiple Hawaiian islands, with all the massages you can handle, all the workouts, on-call personal trainer, And I don't know if Diana knows this, but I believe she could be a world-class chef. I'm talking best chef in the world. For some reason, she doesn't feel like doing that right now. But she could be your own private chef, and trust me, it'll pay off. I'm talking, you can eat, like, I actually
Pizza,
believe,
pancakes, burgers.
the way that we have figured this out is I really do believe you can drink the best coffee in the world, drink the best beer in the world, indulge in the healthiest herbs in the world, eat the best pizza in the world, eat the best pancakes in the world, and lose a pound a day, and let go of your old stories and this idea. Why would you ever eat anything that you don't believe is healthy? I see that the newest eating disorder is probably a form of orthorexia, where people have gotten so obsessed with trying to fit or mold themselves into a specific diet that works for someone else that they kind of lose themselves on the way. And if you feel like maybe you're the same path that you felt like you found yourself on is now the path that you're losing yourself on, I believe that we could take you on a journey that would offer you a mind-blowing, heart-filling perspective, experience, and journey.
That is another aspect. Like I said, most people just want a couple of sheets to read and, you know, an outline of what to do, when to do it, and then that's it. But every body reacts differently. So we don't just have one way of eating and doing things and this is what's going to work for you. Like, we can observe how your body reacts. Entire being is reacting to everything that we're putting you through. And so not everything is going to be the same. Of course, I could create a general outline that would work for most people, but there are certain aspects that it can't be controlled.
Such as how, what are they telling themselves as they're eating the food?
Oh yeah, if you feel guilty eating it, I mean, that's a rabbit hole. But yeah, there's so many aspects to this that, you know, you're not going to find by just purchasing an online program and thinking that is the cure. Sure, it's going to get you far, and I'm actually considering having that program for sale, but you know, there's so much more to it that you're only going to get from an in-person experience.
And that goes the same for your fitness. That goes for the same way you go on hiking trails, surfing, adventures. That goes for the same way you sleep. It goes for the same way you love. It goes for the same way you talk. That they're way more interconnected than I imagine most people understand. And I believe just like somebody watching this might be an epic lawyer or an epic doctor, I really do believe, and I have to own it in order to inspire others to own their gift, is that I am a freedom catalyst. And I'm happy that name, I chose that name for whatever reason, or it came into my head for whatever reason, because it really, there's after testimony after testimony after testimony, I realized I just have to own this and keep giving that gift to as many people as I possibly can and make that gift as powerful as I can. And that I want you to do the same for your gift. And I believe, Diana, you feel like you've tapped into this awakening your sexy self. What was the terminology that you've been using?
What did I say the other day? Roadmap to sexy, I think.
When she gets nervous, her lip quivers a little bit.
No, I didn't.
It quivered a little bit. It's okay. Don't be in denial.
You're sweet.
But that's one of the main things that we're going to focus on, is getting people to realize that these emotions they keep suppressing/depressing are actually where maybe some of your greatest gifts are hiding. And if we can just get you to dive deep into the uncomfortable, to realize that it's actually fun comfortable, you might just find a whole new level of freedom in facing your fears.
But I think most people also think that it's difficult, and it's really not. It's just, you gotta ask yourself the right questions. You just, as long as you know what to do, which can take many years of research, and we've just managed to do that, and now you don't have to research anymore if you just come join us. But the method is super simple. You just gotta know which questions to ask and what to do.
And I think what we're both really good at, this dynamic duo power couple thing that we have going on, especially coming from such different backgrounds, including religious beliefs, including family beliefs, including a whole spectrum of things, is learning how to love each other beyond agreement. For sometimes just agree to disagree and sit with that and feel that. And I understand that not everyone may have a month to take off and fully dive deep and immerse themselves in this experience. And if that's impossible, or if you believe that's impossible for you, and you want to still experience this lifestyle that we're alluding to, then I would definitely invite you to one of our retreats. Check out my website, check out her website. We have the retreats listed there. But what I'm offering is You'll probably join on very different retreats on 2 very different Hawaiian islands, and then you're gonna spend 2+ more weeks with us on expect anything and experience everything. But one thing you can expect is an evolution and a refining that you may have never thought could take place in a whole lifetime, much less a month. And I'm serious about that. And I'm serious about inviting you, and if you feel seriously called to this, email me at tenallin@gmail.com. That's TENALLIN@gmail.com. And let's get you on the path of pursuing your passion to realize that's one of the most important things you can do while you're wearing this human suit. And not only is it one of the most important things that you can do, it's one of the most important things you can give to the world. It's one of the most important things you can give to your family. It's one of the most important things for your relationships. That if you are not lit up, if you are not excited about waking up, then maybe you've been looking in places of distraction rather than looking for places in inspiration. And this is an invitation for you, and you know who you are.
I would have to say the only limitation is really you. And I know that's a cliche thing. My dad seriously only thought he was gonna lose maybe a couple of pounds. He didn't really believe in it. He was like, yeah, okay. But 17 and a half in 2 weeks. And I know that for some people, they just look at me and think, oh, she was born that way. Like, what does she know? Someone made the comment one day, it's like the winning team saying it's not about winning, and whatever kind of weird comments that I get. But if you go to my website, lifeisdiana.com, and look at my before and after picture where I got my hand far down a can of Pringles, and you'll get a kick out of that. So
yeah, and the same thing for me. I feel like I've learned and grown and evolved so much over the last few years, over my whole life really, that if I had met people in high school, they would probably be like, wow, you've changed. And I would be like, thank you. And I would also ask you to consider, if you're not the person that's changing, then are you truly living up to your potential? I believe we're gonna be in this human suit as long as we give our spirit a reason to evolve. And we're on the path of pursuing our passion and realizing that all the obstacles are opportunities, all the stumbling blocks are stepping stones, and all the switchbacks are actually getting you to your destination. Just like when you're hiking up a mountain, sometimes you have to cut back a little bit to make it up in the most effective and efficient way. And I want to also be clear that people that have come on our retreats and our events or whatever, all the other things that we've hosted, they've had miraculous transformations and evolutions even beyond the retreat experience. But this, however, is someone that's looking for like the most radically expansive, month-long, immersive experience that you could probably, I'm just going to go ahead and say, maybe find anywhere else in the world. So if that's what you're feeling called to do, email me now, right now, because what you'll learn through this process, as the rest of our processes, is that sometimes time has a tendency, especially in the past for me and others in the present, to be a dampening effect, or actually a killer of your dreams. So I invite you not to think your way around this experience, but to feel your way completely through it, starting with reaching out.
That's a great point. One of the main excuses that we hear is about not having enough time or enough money. And I just want to throw it in there that I think if I were to use that excuse, I would have topped it. Because when I left Denmark, I was living in a 3-bedroom apartment, fully furnished. I booked my ticket with 2 weeks till the retreats. I had to get my visa in check. I had to move out of my apartment actually. So I had to move everything I had in that apartment. I managed to move it into my friend's basement, and I told him I'd be back in a couple of weeks, which turned into a year, but that's a different story. But I moved everything out of my apartment, and I borrowed money from friends and family and whoever I could. And most people think they don't have time because, oh, they gotta do this and they gotta do that and gotta be prepared. If I could move a 3-bedroom apartment and get my visa and everything else in check in just 2 weeks, or I think it was actually a week and a half, then you can do it too.
And I also want to challenge people to start waking up and telling themselves that I have all the time that I want. I love you. Look in the mirror. I love you. Tell yourself, I have all the money that I want. I have all the money that I desire, because in reality, I believe that's true, that you've created your financial situation and you've created your beliefs around time that were the most fitting for you in the moment. But now it's time that you can actually, I'm challenging you to create a new story. To realize that there is no waste of time. And then you start getting into, is there actually time or space? But that's another whole rabbit hole, and I'll be happy to spend hours and hours discussing that with you under the stars and the palm trees and the black sand beach in Hawaii. Oh yeah, and I do want to, if you've never been in Hawaii and if you like good fruit and good fish, I'll just cut myself off there a bit. Coconuts, avocados, mangoes, lily koi, papaya, some exotic fruits you've never heard of. Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, me too.
And I'm excited to see who emails us, and it's not going to be for everyone, but at least this will give us an opportunity to discuss, to find out if you are the right person. Parentheses S. Like, yes.
Yeah, it'll be life-changing for sure. So, and it definitely is not for everyone. It takes commitment, willingness, and courage.
There are things I want to say about the accommodations and all that, but I'm just gonna let this go, give it to God, and not let perfect get in the way of great, and trust that whatever we delivered in this message was the best and the most effective and efficient way to reach the person that was supposed to be reached. In Jesus' name, amen.
Just amen.
Peace.